Welcome back. Another episode of Game Debate. We've got a real good one today. It's geeky, it's accessories, and it's Will's idea. So it's on him if it sucks. All right, we got Nate over here. We got Will over here. Guys, I noticed you wear the same outfit 3 weeks in a row. I don't want to say anything, but fuck, boys, come on, man. Can you mix it up? I just like polo shirts, so that's what it is. So today we're going to talk about favorite. Now, is it favorite video game controller? No, it's Nintendo controller, right?
Nintendo controller. Might be the same. Might not matter.
And there's so many Nintendo controllers. I figured the only way, logically, to do this, we're going to do them in order from launch. I'll bring up the system, the controller, and I'll throw it to Nate, and we'll round table it. We'll go through them all. Then we all will be on the clock and decide what is the greatest Nintendo controller ever made. And we will include portables in this. I think it's only fair. They probably won't win, but hey, shit like a touchscreen's a big deal, you know?
Yeah, you're damn right it is.
A lot of people don't realize Nintendo has the patent for the D-pad. Because in 1985 in America, the Nintendo Entertainment System launched was the most beautiful, iconic controller ever made. You got D-pad, goes 4 directions, select start A and B, and my God, it's light. You ever put one when the Classic came out? You put that in your hand, it's like, holy shit! Is there anything in my hand?
Feels odd now, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It feels so small. Yep.
Speaking of the Classic, 3-foot controller, really, motherfucker, God. Most of you ought to pay $300 to get the system. And then you get a 3-foot controller. Man, it's like Reggie not coming to E3 this year, Nate, like you were talking about. So we started up with Nate. I'm sorry, boys. My eyes may be red. And Nate, start with the NES controller. What do you think about it?
I kind of like the bone controller better for the NES that came with the top loader.
Look at this motherfucker. Nate's flexing right now, boys. He's flexing. I forgot about the dog bone.
Show a picture of that dog bone, Nick, on here.
Look at this. It could have been a one-cut edit. Now, because of Will, I got to find this moment. I got to go to Google. I got to steal a dog bone PNG, and it's got to be transparent or it won't look right. Then I got to time it up, all because of your smart-ass mouth, Will.
Just do it, man.
Son of a bitch. Nate, dog bone?
Yeah, I'm going to go with dog bone on it. And mainly it's because, I got the top loader as soon as it came out. I mean, it was just we walked into one of our local stores. It was just kind of like a miniature Walmart, and we went in there. It was $50. Dad was like, "Hey, do you have that?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You want it?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Wait, so you got the controllers as an accessory? You didn't buy it from the system?
Yeah. It came with the. I mean, I got the controller with the system. And
you got the mini. Is that what it was? The NES2. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Did it come with 1 or 2 dog bones? 1 or 2.
It just came with 1. Yeah,
Nintendo's getting cheap on us, man.
Yeah. That was the first. I mean, they came with 2 controllers on the original, and then the top loader just came with the 1 dog bone. But I played a lot with that. I mean, I used it a lot, and I just got really, really comfortable with it over time. So that's mainly what I go for. It's just the original, that square. It's not real comfortable. I mean, you can't get a comfortable position on it. I guess nowadays, when you're a kid, you're not so wide, I like my hands wider apart. The wider apart, the more comfortable. And that controller is really close nowadays.
Yeah. Like with them Wilsons, I'm real bad. Believe it or not, when I play multiplayer a lot, I start playing. This sounds so weird. I'll take my controller behind my head and be laying back playing. Can't do that on a fucking NES controller unless you want to hang yourself. And you definitely can't do it on the NES Mini unless you have a 10-foot fucking power cord. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop talking about that controller. Will, what do you think of the NES controller?
It's just epic. You look back on it, that's like my first memory of I played Atari and stuff, but when you got a Nintendo controller in your hand, it was just a whole different game. It really was. I can remember being in elementary school and Nick had the same teacher, and I remember you got rewarded and you get to go play Excite Bike and Mario the side, and you're just by yourself in Nintendo, like a little 13-inch TV. But I mean, that's what I think about when I think about that old controller. And it was just at the time, so revolutionary. It's mind blowing.
So I'm still a little bit young to think about it in those terms at that time. That's why, to me, the dog bone took it a step further for me, because we had an Atari and I played it, but I was still young when I got the NES controller in my hand. It didn't hit me like, oh yeah, this is so much different. But now, by the time I got the dog bone in my hand, I was like, wow, this is a lot more comfortable.
It is, dude. That square, ergonomically, it was terrible, man. Your hands were sore after playing that.
I was gonna say what Will just said. You can tell that was Nintendo's first try. You're gonna hold it in your hands and you're gonna have 4 90-degree angles. I just don't think that adds up. Hard plastic. And how many of us probably hit? We all siblings probably sling it down once or twice, pissed off. You know that
I
jagged.
can think of many of Bubble Bobble sessions with you, Nick, doing that.
Will could find a way to make Bub and Bob do horrifically dirty things to each other at a young age. Before I even know things were possible. We probably knew things I didn't. I got a fun question to ask you guys. This is a real fun one. We'll probably run this one of the nerds. We're all Nintendo collectors, fans, players. They re-released. Get this. This is an a-ho move. They re-released the NES Classic. They do the NES Classic 2. And it's a remake of the mini one, and it comes with dog bone controllers.
Oh gosh, the great idea.
They do a small limited run, just like the OG one. Would you make a run at it?
You know what they need to do, Nick? Make them Joy-Cons like they did the NES ones, Nick.
No, $59.99. Do you buy the mini classic NES 2?
No.
No.
Nope.
I feel bad. I kind of think I would. I think it'd be cool. And then you want to have two of the controllers because they're gonna fuck you on that too. Then the hardest thing to do is find the second fucking controller without buying two systems. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, Will says he wouldn't have it, but I know the truth is Will would have 5 or 6 if you sell them on eBay.
Well, if that was the way to make a profit, I'd do it.
Oh, look at this. Look at Nate.
All right.
Look at Nate on it.
Just so we're clear.
Oh my God.
There's the ball.
No, Nick, you don't have to do it anymore. Nate's got it.
Yeah.
Make my hands line up on it.
What are the stickers on there? The stickers on there. What are those?
Yeah, I put those on there when I was probably 7 or 8 or something.
Oh,
Howard Road, I was on there when they came out. They were from the Nintendo Power Super Club.
Oh, look at Link and Mario there, man.
Yeah.
That Yoshi. Oh, dude, there's some good ones on there.
Yeah. So.
Dude,
Awesome,
to me, that makes it 100 times cooler. The stickers you put on it, are still on there.
That's awesome.
Still on there, yeah.
Now, boys.
And you can see it's got a little crack in it here too, but I still actually have the box and all the inserts and everything for this as well. So
nothing has RCA apps on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, this one there is a version that does. This one does not. The one that has the version that has it on there is a lot more expensive, so it's harder to find. It was the later release of it, so
Nintendo, we find a way to get you, man. All right, boys. So from the ergonomically unfriendly to the friendly the dog bone, we go to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Here, Will, is where I was stunned, absolutely stunned. I remember pulling that controller out and looking at my brother and screaming, "It's got an L&R!" Well, it was more like we were at Walmart playing, because I remember they had the Super Mario World to play for demo at Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
Prestonsburg when we went over there, and I was like, what L&R? What can we do with these? I was just so blown away with that L&R. So
Nate, you said it. And honestly, what gave me the idea for us to pick the controller was Nintendo recently said they're always on the quest to find the perfect controller. They're working on the perfect controller next time. The Super Nintendo one is in the conversation, guys, and I'll tell you why. You get the 4 buttons on the face, the left and right, like Nate said. Literally, the controllers we're using today are a variation of that controller. I mean, that it goes all the way back to the Super Nintendo controller. It is, and you said it. Like, even when you play, remember when you play Link to the Past, and you actually can assign the buttons to be what weapons and stuff you want. Incredible to have the 4 buttons there. Nick, what do you think?
I couldn't agree more. And here, I'm going to say, they're going to get to a bold statement that you're going to agree with and love. 4 face buttons. They have 4 new buttons to the controller. First ever shoulder buttons. Every modern day controller now has 4 face buttons. Shoulder buttons. First from Nintendo. Not to mention the D-pad they took from them as well. But all the time people are like, the only thing I don't like about my Switch is Nintendo's A and B buttons are backwards from Xbox and PS4. Nintendo needs to change to be like them.
No.
Time out. You're hosting the party. Why would you visit somebody else's? You did it first. They stole it from you. They're the ones doing it wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, God, that was some passion there. Nintendo. Oh my God, N64. Oh, it adds 4 camera buttons, or the camera buttons, right?
Yeah.
And then something called an analog stick. I heard was a big deal. And then a trigger button on the back of the controller. Nate, N64 controller. I bet that blew your mind.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, again, it was incredible. I thought I couldn't wait to get my hands on it after seeing it in the Nintendo Power. I could not wait. I could not wait to try out that analog. I was super curious about how the 3-handed design was going to work out.
Yeah, your controller had a penis.
Yeah, I was super curious to how that would work, but nowadays, looking back, I don't really like it. Back then, I really enjoyed it. Nowadays, though, I do not. So it's not my favorite. But if you look at a Nintendo 64 controller, which I have right here, just so happens, and it's the shape here is still a Super Nintendo controller within this.
That's such a good point. It's even molded that way. But that bottom mode didn't even have to be there, but they did just to keep the shape, like exactly what he's saying.
See, and my experience with it is, guys, is that you said it. It doesn't hold the test of time very well. It's terrible, really, now looking at it. But man, the first time you play Mario 64 and you have that analog stick,
yes,
you don't forget it. It's just the freeing and just the openness of it, and just the all directions.
All directions.
You just can't. People now will never understand what that's like for us.
It started out with all directions. Yeah, you used to. Yeah. You didn't have that.
You didn't have it, and so that part of it's epic. I can remember playing like the wrestling games, and a lot of times on those, like you use the D-pad, and then you'd have that button was for your special or for your taunts in the middle. And it was awesome. Loved it.
Yes.
All right, boys, you take a seat now. I got a lot to say about this controller. I'm going to take some bitches' asses to school. Welcome to my classroom. First of all, Michael Buffer would say, let's get ready to rumble because the rumble pack. I mean, every modern day controller, once again, uses a new feature added by them, the rumble pack. Also,
and analog, yeah.
The Z trigger, I'm getting to that. That's the main event. We're getting to the low card here. Michael Buffer ain't out yet. So there you go. Now the Z trigger back there. Now, even though the L2 and L buttons on modern controllers, they're not shoulder buttons, they're trigger buttons. That's the Z pushed out. And obviously the analog stick's a big deal. Now, modern day gaming relies on dual analog. And like Nate said, playing it now, you play a game like GoldenEye, one analog stick in a shooter is a game breaker. You have to have sticks. It was ahead of its time. It seems distant now, but I'll tell you a little story. All of us used to get these little VHSs in the mail from Nintendo. Nate, did you get the Mario 64 one?
I got the last one I got was Donkey Kong Country.
All right. So the Mario 64 one, I think Toys R Us sent out. You've been on their list or whatever. I think there's a lot of people sell this. The collector thing. It's like $5. But on the tape, I'll never forget because I remember the guy's name. The guy's name's Ken Lobb. Ken Lobb, the guy that did game testing for Nintendo, notoriously known in GoldenEye as the gun Lobb that was named after him. But just on that.
That's right.
Yep. Anyways, I'll never forget. He had the controller. First of all, Mario 64 was on the screen, so your mind's blown. He's like, this analog stick. You lightly push it, just very lightly push it. Yeah. And Mario creeps.
I do remember that. Yes, we did get that one. That's right. I did get that.
See, boys,
I remember seeing that.
You feel it. And then you push it up a little bit more. And Mario starts to walk. I was like, no fucking way. Then Ken went and done it. You push it all the way. He runs.
Yeah.
It seems so simple.
I know.
Nintendo's the guys you held right to run. They're the guys you hold right and hold the B button you run. Now it's a one button move. It's instinctual. It's instant. And then they show you hit the A button, Mario jumps. You hit it again when he lands and he double jumps. You hit it a third time, he triple jumps. Another one. Incredible. You hit the Z button, Mario crouches. And these are all native easy controls. You guys remember, if you run and while you're running full throttle, if you tap Z then jump. Long jump. And if you hold Z and then jump, it's the back jump. I mean, dude, oh my God, that controller. Looking back on it.
You make a good point. That instinctual node from like to crawl to walk to run, how simple that seems, but how really impactful that really is. That's
when hardware meets software.
I want to make 2 points though about it too. They were innovative. I mean, they were looking for a way. They just hadn't thought of it yet.
The second stick?
Yes, the second stick is this. They were still thinking about it right here. They got pretty close.
What's crazy too is you drop a stick, you drop a handle to gain a stick. That's weird to think that's how it ended up, but obviously it works. Well, boys, let's move on. Oh, also, as a young gamer, did you rather put your memory card in your system or in your controller? Because the memory card went in the back of the N64 controller, in that big slot. The memory card.
Yeah, right here. I really, really liked that.
Me too.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dreamcast was like that with little the slide in too.
They preach a message for every system. The N64, they're like, say on you play World Tour, one of those games. You got to create a wrestler. He's in your controller.
Yep.
Same night with little Jimmy that night.
Right controller.
Controller, plug it in. There's my create character I've been telling you all week about. Now he's gonna
Like an
beat your guys'
amiibo, right?
ass.
Yeah, man. That's
Two more
you're
things
100%
I want to say about the 64 controller.
Bring it on.
One thing, this is my personal gold controller that I won from Nintendo Power
And why did you win that for Nintendo Power, Nate?
because I beat Mario Raceway and Mario Kart 64 in under a minute or something like that. And I took a picture of it with a Polaroid, sent it into Nintendo Power, and I was one of 1,000 that got this gold controller. And I still have the little. They sent me a note in the mail. I still have that note and everything. I got that framed actually. And then unfortunately though, I threw away the box to this. But
legit.
Nate, let me ask you this: Do you remember what issue of Nintendo Power that you're in?
Oh, I don't.
But somebody had a collection and they knew around the Super that time frame, Mario 64. They dug around, they could find your stuff, right?
Yes. I have every issue of Nintendo Power. I just don't have it here with it. It's in storage at my mom's, but I do have every issue, and I have several of them here. But and the only other thing I wanted to mention too was, and this is just kind of something for now, more modern. If you go back and play 64 on emulator now, and you can use, an updated Pro controller or whatever, there is now a way that you can use the second analog to move the controller freely, to the camera freely. So now you can play, and this was just found like 4 days ago. So you can now play Mario 64 with the controller as it was intended to be played.
Cool, Nate. That's good info. That's awesome.
Quick side question: they released an N64 Classic. Do you buy it?
Yes, I would.
I think you have to.
Man, I don't know.
I want to buy it for the controller. I mean, I really would.
The controller is the most interesting thing about that release.
Hey guys, those games, I think they hold up least well of the retro games. I think Nintendo games look better now.
I think the issue is it's early day of polygons, low frame rate.
They're rough.
Ocarina at max is 20 frames. Nowadays, it's unacceptable. Then it's masterful.
It's rough. I think if you haven't played it recently, man, it jarred me when I went back and looked at what they look like. It was jarring.
All right, boys, let's go to the next controller. The controller that shockingly is loved by all, held in a very high standard. That would be the Nintendo GameCube Atomic Purple controller, or black, whatever edition you got out of the gate there, before all the funky colors came in.
I have the Switch version.
Oh my god, it's wireless, correct?
The wireless version.
One, yeah.
How does it work with the nice controller? You like it?
It's a little light. It's too light for me.
The Pro controller is so perfect, Nate.
And this as well. You can probably hear this. They made those buttons pop. I mean, I can hear it all the way through my house.
Let me ask you this, Nate. Now, this is a good question. Are the shoulder buttons, are they analog or are they one click?
They're one click, aren't they?
I think they're one click.
Yeah, they're one click.
So a lot of people talk about one of the hard. There's something people don't talk about a lot. GameCube emulation's hard because the GameCube had an analog shoulder, and what that means is it's pressure sensitive, not just click on, click off. By your pressure, it did stuff. So that any game that comes out for GameCube would have to be reprogrammed.
I totally forgot about that.
And that's a big deal if you realize how big of a deal that is to change. Because it's either A or B, not all these different levels of sensitivity.
Right.
But boys, with the GameCube controller came also another controller called the Wavebird. Anything important about the Wavebird?
First wireless controller, and I tell you what, as awesome as the GameCube controller is in general, the Wavebird to me was the most unbelievably revolutionary thing.
I'll save you some more graphics here, Nick.
Dude, all you can.
Yes.
Now think of the Wavebird. Now on the bottom, Nate, are there 16 channels, or how many channels we got on the bottom? Is it 16?
Yeah, it's 16. I'm pretty sure.
Boys, it's real simple. You got wireless receiver. You match the channel to the controller. Don't use the same ones or close ones. AA batteries up to, I think, 80 hours.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Think how revolutionary that was, guys. To have the receiver and have that. It worked
Boys,
flawlessly.
It is trivia time. The Wavebird released on the same day as a GameCube game that they wanted to push multiplayer with. Does anyone know what third-party title released the same day as the Wavebird, like it's the game to get a Wavebird for? It is third party.
It was third party. I was going to guess Four Swords until he said that. Bomberman?
Nope. WrestleMania 18. X8.
Unbelievable. Really?
I'm not joking. Same day release. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember when I bought him about the game.
Unbelievable, Nick.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's all I'm good for. Nate actually has everything we're talking about, which is incredible.
Oh,
I know stupid. What do you got?
Here's my Mario Kart letter.
Oh
Yes.
my dude.
Yeah. On the inside it says congratulations. You can see right here it says from Nintendo Power.
That great old logo.
Yeah.
Dude, like that's like Nintendo Street Cred, like to the afterlife right there.
Yeah, got that right.
Something you can only dream of that era to do something like that. Holy shit.
I can't believe I got in the mail.
Oh, well, nothing with the GameCube. It doesn't have the same analog stick, but it's that little camera stick. But the thing was, it had that gigantic A button on it. Do you remember? The main face button was huge. That was actually, it worked. It was fine. And we
that's the first time they had 2 shoulder buttons too, wasn't it? Isn't there like a
there's one. It's one.
Right
ZR.
Yeah.
They moved ZR from behind to over here. Yeah.
Here.
So they kept the one trigger and eventually went 2.
Yeah.
The boys, after the GameCube, something changed. They called it a revolution. Then they called it the Wii. And the Wii is a 2-part controller. There's the Wii motion controller before the Plus add-on that connects to the nunchuck. They're wireless but tangled together. One is an analog stick and a trigger and a button. The other one is the Wiimote, which is simply a D-pad, A, B, and a trigger. Now, this is interesting. So what do you think about the Wii, Will? What the Wii controller?
I think it's complete trash.
I'll tell you, they reverted on this. And here I'll give you an analogy. When I'm training my clients, every week I want them to go either up a rep or up 5 pounds. I don't ever want them to take a step back.
Nate, we got to clarify though.
Yep.
He's a professional gigolo, is what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good-looking man. Email me for details. Like and subscribe for more.
We're supposed to do that gigolo dance that we never did do with Chris Farley.
So be down anytime. Anytime we'll do it. People are like, I'm subbing for that shit. That dumb bastard and that good-looking guy. They're gonna get naked.
But no, to go with what Nate was saying there, it did feel like a big regression for them. And it was packaged to be like this revolutionary thing. But my thing was like, I don't have a game to like exercise with or get up and swing a sword. I had a button for that. And I thought they really went away from like what they were. But it was such a huge success. But what was funny about that system, it crashed and burned. Once the novelty wore off of that, it was, you didn't want to mess with it.
I will say I saw it in every single physical therapy place I ever went to at that time. I was actually doing physical therapy classes at that time. I was taking classes, and I had to go do internships and things like that. And every place that I went to had a Wii, and people was using that Wiimote to play games on. Get them moving.
All right, the Wii's funny. Nintendo fans don't remember it fondly. But let me be the first one to remind you that it is the best-selling Nintendo home console ever made.
Easily.
And let me also throw another thing out there. We don't look at it good now, but the first time you played Wii Sports Bowling, what did you think about it then?
Okay, now that you got me there. That I'll get you on. But that's the thing. It was cool for that kind of thing. But I didn't want it for my Zelda. I didn't want it for my Mario. I didn't want it for my stuff, But for sports, that's awesome. Playing golf, baseball, that's awesome.
I feel like the Wii Sports experience was so good. Its own systems. I think it was that good.
You're right.
People play that game if they play Mario 1. And obviously, I don't want to Wii, and I don't want to play it back. But there is one incredible thing on the Wii. And it's simply called the Virtual Console. Yeah. And the first time I ever played Chrono Trigger, you could go out and pay $20, get that really cool classic controller, which was lame that plugged into the Wiimote. Yeah. And the games were set price by console, and they were very affordable. SNES like $7.99.
Yeah. Yes, everything was on there. Everything was on there.
The top end was $15 or $64. And I didn't want to replay Ocarina of Majora's in that style, but they were there, and they had Sega games, all the Square RPGs, everything was there. Holy shit, boys! It was good.
It was real good.
I want to address something too about the Wiimote that I don't know why Nintendo never ever explored. You guys may have heard of him, Johnny Lee, YouTuber. He showed how with Wiimotes you can have head tracking desktop VR displays using the Wiimotes. Why Nintendo never explored that, I will never know. He's got an incredible YouTube video where he shows VR so far advanced that it looks just as good as it does today. And this was 11 years ago.
Nate, I think that's their. I'm worried that's
ago.
their direction now. That's what I'm worried about. I think that's what might be where they're going to try to take it next. I think they're going to try to do something like that again.
I wish they had explored it back then, so then we would know what if we want to go that route or not. And they had the power to do that. I mean, the guy created a keyboard. He projected a keyboard on his desktop. On his table, he projected a keyboard. He used a Wiimote,
it's Tony Stark shit.
The blue wave, the Bluetooth or whatever it was, the kind of waves that he used his Wiimote as the tracker. You could type stuff off of that projected keyboard using his Wiimote.
And that's 11 years ago.
11 years
That's incredible, Nate. Yeah.
So something else really lame. The optical drive on the original Wii could play DVDs.
Yeah.
And they didn't allow it. You could bootleg it, but they actually turned it off. They're that all in on being the ultimate gaming machine. I think that's ridiculous.
And Wii U, same day. I remember found out they didn't play DVDs. I was pissed. I was pissed off.
Another thing is they pulled the GameCube out of it. When the first several years they had four GameCube slots on the top, and the GameCube reader, the GameCube. Would a lot of people play GameCube like that? They got rid of the beloved GameCube.
Did. A lot did.
But then they took it out of it to make it cheaper. And then something that no one ever really talks about. Y'all remember the Wii Mini?
Yeah, the red. Was it red?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. In the future, everybody would want a fucking. They're exclusive to Walmart. You watch that, be like the mini NES Nate talked about. It's gonna be like the Wii. All right, boys, from the Wii, I heard we had a real popular one called the Wii U. Nate,
okay, here I'm gonna defend the controller. We're talking about the controllers here, boys. We're not talking about.
Once again, at Wilco Johnson on Twitter.
We're talking about the controller. We're not talking about the system. Okay, the controller. The idea for that, I actually think that was what the Switch ended up being. It takes a lot of flack, I know. And the resolution was the killer on it, but the touchscreen controls. You play Zelda. You remember you play Wind Waker, and have all the stuff on your second screen was awesome, actually.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was really cool. I actually think the idea of what they were going for was awesome. The controller is really neat, don't you think?
I thought it was very comfortable too. One thing I really liked about it was very, very comfortable, and I did really enjoy that second screen. I guess just the problem with it was just the console itself. I mean, and they took it. I mean, in the next we'll talk about the Switch next and how they did it there. They did what I think they were trying to do with the Wii U, and they just couldn't do it.
I agree. The tech wasn't there for them yet, and they rushed it out, and there they were.
Yeah. But it was very comfortable. It's comfortable. It's a very comfortable controller.
It's more comfortable than the Switch is.
And the thing is about the Switch controller, we don't have the second display now because that display is our only display.
Yes.
Right. So it was a unique idea, and I think that a lot of developers didn't take it's because the system was so underpowered. But if we had that ability now, oh my gosh, I think it'd be a really cool thing to have. I
think it's a great idea, just a little ahead of its time.
I agree.
Well, then we had the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And boy, there's a lot of ways you can control that thing. Joy-Cons, snap onto a Joy-Con grip, or control the side of the controller. Nate, are you feeling the joy of the cons? Well,
I'll tell you how I primarily play it is with the Joy-Cons. I mean, I'm almost 90% of the time playing it with the Joy-Cons. Every now and then I'll use my Pro controller, but it's not very often because I'm always playing in bed or playing in my recliner or whatever. Somebody else can watch
the
TV.
That's the gimmick of having it. Nate's right. When you have a family, you got to get off in your own little world. Sometimes you don't get the TV. I'm with you, brother.
Well, I'm a dog player on a Pro controller, but I have no problem with the Joy-Cons.
I do that.
They don't bother me at all. I mean, you gotta realize we take it for granted. They're rechargeable batteries. They charge on the system itself. It's so easy to do. It's just very.
And let's not forget the technology, the HT Rumble. I think that's really overlooked with these. That's actually a really cool tech. Rumble. They don't use it enough. I think it's a really
use it at all.
They don't. You play 1-2 Switch and you do that marble game when you can feel it, guys. It's nuts. I hate that they didn't explore that. We haven't seen anything done with that.
Yeah, I really, really like it. I use it a lot in Bloodstained Ritual. I mean, you can feel whenever you're close to death. That thing rubbles. It's incredible. Like it almost feels like a massage in my hands. No kidding. I mean, it's really good.
It is. It's crazy. And what I want to add with the Switch there too, you think about too with the touch screen and I can't remember the tech where you push harder and lighter being part of that too. What's that called, guys? Y'all have haptic feedback? Is it something like that? Think about the 3DS. I want to bring that up for a second. Think how crazy it is that worked without glasses. We haven't seen any kind of tech like that at all from anybody else. Like that's a one in it. I'm surprised the Switch didn't have that feature. I thought there was a possibility the Switch would be 3D, and I think that could be the next Switch. Could have take that 3D tech back. I could see them using something like that.
Well, boy, we discussed every main home console Nintendo's ever made. Now the time for the verdict. What is your favorite Nintendo controller ever made? And you can explain why if you need to. Nate, you're in the hot seat.
Oh man.
If you boys want, I'll open.
The thing that's getting me here is the amount of time that I spent on a console versus another, because it's easy for me to say the Super Nintendo controller because I used it so much. That's the controller I played.
It's so revolutionary.
It wasn't redesigned either. It is
revolutionary, but I think I'm going to have to go with right here, Wavebird. I think that's just hands. I love the feel of it. My thumbs are. I mean, it's just everything's perfect. My hands just fit perfectly in this controller, and that was the controller for me. That just I took to college with me. That was the controller that everybody was envious of me of having. Nobody else had the Wavebird. I had the Wavebird. Everybody else had wired controllers. Just loved it.
Will?
I hate to sound boring and anticlimactic, but yeah, GameCube, the Wavebird. Easily, Nate nailed everything. The reason you said. I can remember Bill taking like you're talking about controllers at buddies' houses. When you're in college, you took your wireless controller over to your buddy's dorm or whatever, and you had your Wavebirds you brought with you. It takes me back to this particular time in my life and getting cutting the cord, the comfortability of it, the buttons. It's easily the Wavebird for me.
Well, boys, something Will doesn't tell you though is you didn't have to bring a Wavebird to our house. That's also my choice because we have 4. And like the reason I'm getting at is you get your buddies over, college age, same as Nate. Double Dash,
Smash.
Melee, F-Zero, X, all these great Mario Party. The fucking
Monkey Ball,
Monkey Ball. I'm just saying, like 4 Wavebirds, a bunch of guys at the house.
NHL hits, Nick.
No, nothing. That's it for me. The Wavebird was the best experience. And the wireless was a big deal. The battery power was generous, and wireless that worked. Not the NES jaggedy had to try to make it. It was flawless. It was flawless, man.
And it still holds up today. That's another thing I can say about it. I can still go back and play the GameCube, the Wavebird, and it's perfect. It still works great.
I mean, you take the base.
Before we forget, we didn't talk about the Pro Controller for the Switch. We kind of left
it
out.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it seems like it's kind of it's probably the best, my favorite of the new controllers, PS4, Xbox One. I love the Pro Controller. I don't want to slide it down. Make sure I give it some love. It's a great controller.
That's great grips on the handles. The largest face button too.
If I'm holding both of these at the same time, one on my left, one on my right, I get the same feeling from this than I do from this.
Same, Nate.
Yep.
Same. I 100% agree.
Rechargeable battery, built-in rumble, built-in amiibo function is a beast of a controller.
And it's a really nice weight too. It's nice and heavy. I like that about it too.
It's another 40-50 hour battery lifetime deal too, I think. So
yeah,
it's
a long time. Yeah.
Well, boys, I think we've unanimously 100% 3 of 3 voted the Nintendo Wavebird as our unanimous.
That's hard to believe us 3 are unanimous on something.
Unanimous best Nintendo controller ever made, the Nintendo Wavebird. Booyah. Well, anyways, that's Nate. There's Will. I'm Nick. Wavebird's West Side. Is that West Side? No, that's West. That's Wavebird.
Yeah, that's
Wavebird. See you, boys.
Do it.